Today I'm going to show you how to do a single leg lower. It is a beginner's core exercise and it is the funnest thing you'll do today. Maybe. Alright. We're going to start on the ground. I suggest being on a mat for comfort. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tuck our shoulders underneath us, which, as you can tell, increased the amount of arch I have in my back. We want to fix that by slightly tilting the pelvis towards the rib cage to make sure that low back is connected to the mat and flush with the ground. That's a connection you're going to want to maintain during this whole exercise, okay? From there, we're going to put our legs up in the air and flex our feet. Now the legs don't have to be like stick straight hyperextended, but you do want them to have some tension. Okay, so to review, shoulders are tucked underneath, pelvis is tilted towards the rib cage, low back, actually the entire spine is in contact with the ground. Now I also need to generate some tension in my core before I do this. You will feel tension in the core just from tilting your pelvis towards your rib cage and pushing your low back into the ground, but you still need to brace it. And bracing, I want you to think about creating intra-abdominal pressure, so pushing out. So you're going to think about what it feels like to be braced for impact, either punched in the stomach or tickled or surprised. Okay, so you should feel all sorts of pressure here, and actually holding this should be quite challenging, but we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay, from here, single leg lower. You're going to lower your leg and bring it back up. Now let's introduce breathing to that. First, we're going to take a nice big inhale. When I think about inhaling, I like to think about trying to expand my rib cage outwards this way. That helps me get breath all the way into my diaphragm. Okay, so nice big inhale through the nose. I'm going to hold that breath as I extend one of my legs. I'm only going to go as low as I can control, keeping my low back on the floor. So if my pelvis starts to tilt away and I get that arch, I am no longer in control and I've gone too far. So you want to stay in a pain-free range that you have control over. Okay, shoulders are tucked underneath, pelvis is tilted towards the rib cage, back is flush with the mat, and I'm braced. Nice big inhale. I'm going to lower the leg. Exhale as I come back up. Inhale. Lower the leg. Exhale as I come up. Again, I only want to lower insofar as I can keep that low back on the ground. For some of you, you'll be able to come all the way down here. For others, you're only going to be able to come here. And guess what? It might not be the same on each side. So you have to go with whatever your range is, whatever you have total control of your form on each side. Don't worry about it being even. We want to make sure each side is challenged the same way. So, back up. Shoulders are tucked underneath. Low back is smashed into the ground. Core is braced. Inhale. Lower, lower, lower. Exhale. Again, if I lower and my pelvis tilts away, and now I have that space again, I am no longer in good form. I need to lift my leg back up, reset, and change the range. Now, the other thing that might happen here is you might experience something in the hip that feels like almost like a snap or a click. That's happening because of some core weakness, which we are working on, but you want to try to avoid getting that snap. So let's say you're here, and while you can control your low back all the way onto the ground to here, when you get to about here, you snap. I want you to stay in that snap-free range. The snap's not going to hurt. You're not going to hurt anything if you let it happen, but we're really trying to train the core and to get stronger, and so we want to stay in the range we have control over, and that means we want to stay away from the snapping hip. So again, you want to make sure you maintain a neutral spine, no unwanted rotation, and you stay in a pain-free zone.